At the New England Air Museum, FlightSimCon 2016 and AirDailyX.net, this is perhaps the best surprise of the entire convention. Colin from TFDi showed up, and not only did he come up alone, but he showed up with the 717. Now you guys just recently did a live stream of the aircraft. Huge, lots of things. I missed it unfortunately because the doggone internet in my hotel room was just terrible. There was a lot of buffering and stuff. But really quickly, before we get to that, I want to kind of get into you a little bit. All right. At some point you decided, I want a 717 and I want to build that. What skills did you possess that you brought with you to make that happen?
It was actually, it was weird how it started. We had tried another project in the past. We wanted to do aircraft, and we honestly tried to put a team together. This was years ago, and we could never find a programmer. So after that project, we decided that wasn't going to work out, and one of my friends had suggested to me the 717. It hadn't been done before. I looked into it, I thought it was a cool aircraft, but we still didn't have a programmer. I ended up, throughout other job opportunities, learning the code, and I started working on it. I'm like, I think we can do this. And over the years past, it's as silly as it sounds, it's just been a matter of, head down and then learn whatever you need, and we've ended up where we are. And I still, looking back, it's all a whirlwind, really, that we went from, hey, let's make a 717 to showing it off here.
Now, I recently had an opportunity to interview the guys over at Quality Wings, and one of the things about them is that a lot of them came from doing freeware aircraft. Mm-hmm. Had you had any previous aircraft development experience before taking on TFDi?
Not coding-wise, no. Funny part, Rich, you mentioned Quality Wings. A lot of their guys came from Project Open Sky. I got started years ago. I modified, of course, gave them credit, fixed up one of the old Project Open Sky 737s, and I released that back in like 2009. And when that first started, everybody downloaded it, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Now, people are going to use something I made. That's what started this whole bug for me. Once I saw, I could do something other people enjoyed, because it was all about the passion and the flying and seeing it the way I wanted to see it. But once I did that, other people enjoyed it too, and that's where it started. So my freeware experience, we did that. We did a lot of modifications and improvements and stuff. It wasn't until probably 2012-ish that I actually learned to create from scratch.
Now, how big is the team behind TFDi?
It's kind of a network. The actual TFDi team, there's 3 of us on the official team. It's me, Brandon Filer, and Josh Mendoza. Outside of that, we've got Martin Becker, who's been helping us with the flight dynamics. He's been great to work with. I'm not sure what group he's officially associated with these days. He's very good at what he does, and he's been all over the place. We've got TSS that did the sounds.
Okay, awesome.
We've got a couple of guys behind the scenes at TFDi who don't officially work for the team but have helped out. We've had all kinds of people come from the community to help us out with resources and whatnot. It's been, as much as it's ours, it's kind of been a whole community project. We've had, I think it's probably 5 or 10 people now throughout all of the assets that have worked with us. Wow.
And then, of course, you mentioned TSS. You brought in other companies as well. Mm-hmm. One that's notably is Milviz.
Yes.
Tell us about their integration with the project.
Milviz, originally, we needed the model done, and at the time, we didn't have the resources required to do the entire cockpit and exterior model. And we came to them and asked if they wanted to help with that, and we made a deal, and they did the original model. It was before we did a lot of revisions to it, and throughout working with them, I got to know their team and their developers, and now I actually work with Milviz now. Wow. And it's weird how that works out, and it's funny, after all this time, now they're developers, we all work together, and it's kind of all part of the network now.
So are you kind of doing some assistance with some of their aircraft as well that they're working on?
I am, yes.
And that brings 2 Colins together, doesn't it?
Well, Collins. We're both Collins.
Colin, sorry, I said Colin into Colin. I'm sorry about that.
It's close, man. But yeah, it's of course Colin Pearson and Colin Biedenkap, all of us.
So I was able to convince you. Luckily, you brought it with you on a drive. I was able to convince you a little bit to put it up on the screen for us. Yes. We can actually fly it. It is flying now.
It is.
As I mentioned earlier before as well, you guys had the big live stream. Give us maybe the top 3 bullet points from that live stream that was the most impressive features of the add-on.
Features-wise, I'm not even sure where to start. We started with this plane, and we wanted to make it really feel like the aircraft. And everybody says that, oh, it captures the feeling. Everything we've done, from the way you click switches to the way they sound to the way the displays come on to all of that, we wanted to capture the quirkiness of the plane and make sure that it feels like that. I think one of the features I'm most proud of is the displays themselves. They look good and they work, but the way they interact with each other when you turn them off, they kind of flicker and they reconfigure like the real one does, and it feels like something is happening there. It's not just, oh, it's on now. And that was one of the things a lot of people commented on, and I think that was a favorite. And the sounds, I think, was the other big thing.
I can hear it even with the
2016.
Let's take a quick but have you thought forward to the future of what TFDi might take on next after the successful release of the 717?
We have. Of course, I can't announce what it is just yet,
But you know what it's going to be.
We do. We do have plans for at least one more aircraft, if not more than that, and there's other plans that we want to do in the future with the company as well.
And are we looking at a modern commercial airliner, or are we looking at something more that's
Not necessarily. All I can say is I think it'll come as a surprise and definitely have an open mind with it. It's going to have the same level of quality and simulation that everything we've done on this so far has. I think it'll be equally as fun, but exactly where we're going to go that I can't say too much yet.
Have you started any work on it yet?
Outside of resource collection, no.
Wow. Well, obviously, a lot of feedback on the 717. I think it was a successful stream for you the other day.
It's been humbling what we've seen since then. We were not expecting the turnout that we got, and when we did, it was very. It made us very happy to see the amount of enthusiasm for the aircraft and for us in our work on it so far.
Well, it's certainly an excellent choice and an aircraft after my own heart as well. It's a beautiful design, and unfortunately it's sad that it's no longer in development, but at least luckily we still get to see them in the skies, and hopefully we'll see them in the skies in our simulators sometime later this year.
Absolutely.
Colin, it's excellent that you came down to FlightSimCon. Thank you so much for putting this up for us, and we look forward to getting more information soon.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thanks.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
I gotta find an airport now. This is the TFDi 717 in action, 4K. This thing is crisp, beautiful. Sounds are amazing. And this thing is going to be out later this year. I can't believe it. Look at that modeling. Between this and the Quality Wings 787, my head's going to explode when I get this on my computer. It's a dream come true. Take a look at this cockpit. This flight deck is amazing. Look at those textures. I think this is going to be my favorite airplane of all time.
Because with flight controls, their tap motion, it's not snappy at all.
It's smooth. I feel like it's very smooth. Look at that. And it's very responsive. I just can't believe I'm flying it right now.
definitely a surprise.
Another thing too that people are probably going to be concerned about when they get this is like, how is this going to be on performance? I mean, a lot of folks that use P3D now probably don't worry about that too much, but there was always this big concern of like, like the PMDG 777 going into JFK or San Francisco, you know what I mean? But this thing is incredibly smooth. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to have any concerns in terms of performance on mid-range systems, yeah.
We have taken it over the top to make sure it doesn't happen. That it's all been, that's been a consideration since the start of every choice we've made. So far, all of our tests have been given us great reviews.
Any clickable toys here?
That is.
Yes, it is. Ready to go.
There will be two of them at some point. We just finished that one.
What else is animated in here? Is this a compass here?
Yeah, okay, the way that works, there's actually a compass behind your head.
Oh, and then there's a mirror. That's right.
The mirror can do it, but FSX can't, so it's not in there yet. So I'm not sure how we're going to go about that, if we're going to simulate that off the bat or not.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's an interesting system. It's actually rather clunky, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
Standby compass is behind your head.
That is just so insane. And you think they fixed that because that was the case with the old MD-80s.
Yeah, you
the
think that
717 is brand new. You think they would have said, let's put a damn compass there, but that's hilarious. Wow, this is great. I'm going to be here all day.
A lot of the systems work, like I'm told the flight controls work, autopilot works. Pretty much the part of the pressurization system.
Fire right engine. Fire left engine.
Like the real one, if you do that and then
Fire left
push
engine.
that, it'll go out as well. One of the things, I think the other thing I'm personally the most excited about is this whole system with the warnings. If you press them, it acknowledges the warnings. You can switch it on the screen and everything. That whole system was very complicated. It's simple in its essence, but implementing it properly took a lot of focus. Really, it's exciting to see that working properly now. But it is all yours if you'd like to fly it.
Well, when the first million rolls in, just keep developing, okay?
Yes. Yes.
Don't go on a vacation for too long.
No. We enjoy doing what we do. So it may not necessarily
It shows.
be, it may not be the exact plane like this as the second one, but we released one more, and more after that I think is possible. So so far, I honestly, the thing I hate most though is the guesswork. No matter how much reference you have, it's always a little bit of guesswork.
And no matter how much reference you have when you release it, someone's going to notice.
Somebody's going to notice something. Yeah, it's a matter. It's never going to be perfect, but our policy is we know that. So instead of pretending it's perfect and sweeping it under the carpet when there's an issue, we'll acknowledge it head on and say, okay, you found a problem, let's get it fixed.
Right.
That's what I want to. I really want to make sure people understand that it's an open door policy. If you see something that needs to be corrected, let us know.
Right. Awesome. All right, I'm going to get ready for